I don't really remember the plot to this book, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that there really was one. Hello everybody, I'm Rand, this is Reverence, and today we're gonna be talking about Wild Reverence. This book came out this week, so I wanted to do a review on it as soon as I could. A couple things before we start. First off, this is a new background. Please let me know what you like or don't like. I don't love it, but I think it's what I've got for now. So if you have any suggestions, please leave them down below. And also, new location. The street next to me is like very, very loud, so I'm sorry about that. We're gonna talk about Wild Reverence today. For context, this is my second most anticipated book this year. I requested the arc a couple months ago and I finally got it in August, and I read it pretty much immediately as soon as I got the arc. But that was like a month ago, so there are some things I'm rusty on. One of my most anticipated books of this year, and that is because Divine Rivals is one of my favorite books of all time. I reread Divine Rivals in July and I still love it. I still think Rowan and Iris is superior. Still cannot believe the way that Rebecca Ross just like writes. I read and loved Divine Rivals in 2023, and then last year I read her Elements of Cadence duology. I have also tried to read a couple of other things, but to be honest, none of them have really worked for me. I am a Divine Rivals Elements of Cadence lover. Specifically, not Ruthless Vows. In Wild Reverence, we follow Matilda, and in this mythology pantheon, the gods are like split up into two sectors, and one of them is like above in the sky, like above the humans. The other part of gods is like below Earth. Matilda is the daughter of both, and so she is prophesied to be like a messenger of the gods, and we follow her journey as she falls in love with a human boy, Vincent, and she has to deal with like the politics of these gods and everything. This is a prequel to Divine Rivals. However, I disagree with that. There's like one scene, one callback to Divine Rivals, and like you don't even have to read the book to get it. Like you can make up your own headcanon, and I promise you that's what it is. I think calling this a Divine Rivals prequel is very much a stretch, and like I'm not mad at it, but I wonder if this was like a marketing choice. It's almost like a Six of Crows Shadow and Bone situation, where it's like I wouldn't call a Six of Crows a spin-off of Shadow and Bone. They just take place in the same world. I wish there was just more of a relation to Roman and Iris specifically. And I think the main part for me, I'm pretty interested in mythologies if I know what the mythologies are, like Greek mythology, like Norse mythology. Like I feel like the books I think were similar to this were like Circe or The Witch's Heart, just because they also follow goddesses who are immortal, who have to deal with like all of these other pantheons. I know I'm using the word pantheon a lot. I don't know how else to describe a group of gods. For me, those worked because I already knew Greek and Norse mythology and already had a basis in it, and this was like kind of like a feminist reimagining. I don't really know the whole mythology behind Wild Reverence. One, because like I've just been scarred by Ruthless Vows, and I'm like, okay, like it doesn't matter anyway, like it's just revives, it's just for a war. I did find Wild Reverence disappointing, and nobody's more sad about that than me. This is a prequel to one of my favorite romances of all time. Matilda and Vincent meet when they're children, like in their dreams, and their romance is very much like Sleeping Beauty, very like Disney. And I love Rebecca Ross's romances in, you know, the books I mentioned, because I don't know, it's just like slow and moving and like intense, but in like a heartfelt way. Like it's just so different than other romances I've read before. Here again, it's like a very much like a Disney type of love, where it's just like longing, yearning, yes, give me all of it. And this one didn't really work for me because Matilda and Vincent met when they're like children in dreams. They kind of met each other, they kind of had like thing, you know, like crushes on each other when they're kids. Fast forward to when they're adults, and then they get into a marriage of convenience, and you know, the premise worked for me, but the execution of like the romance just wasn't really selling it for me. You know what did Childhood Friends to Marriage of Convenience better was A River Enchanted. Like I really feel like we just reheated A River Enchanted's nachos. Like I don't really know why she wanted to do this again. Matilda and Vincent didn't even have like moments together. Like I don't really know why they were in love. I didn't really care as long as they had like a good story, but they really didn't either. Like because Matilda was like getting caught up in all this like godly politics, she would constantly just like leave Vincent I found all the characters to be like pretty flat, and I just didn't really feel like I understood these characters. Matilda stayed the same for like the entire book, from like when she was a child to when she was an adult. I swear she was the same. I understand like they're like gods, so like, you know, they live a long life and there probably isn't a lot of change, but like from when you're a child to when you're an adult, I feel like there should be a little bit of a change. And also with that, the book is pretty much just Matilda interacting with different gods. So that's like the conflict. Obviously you like interact with people, but I don't know, I just find it like repetitive. Like, oh, we're just talking to this person again, this talking to this person. And like I did like some of the relationships. Like I liked her father figure, I liked the complicated relationships she had with her mother's friends and her mother and everything. I don't know, she just didn't really feel like a character to me because she was like so disconnected from everybody. I really like the writing in Wild Reverence. I got the arc, so I don't know if the writing is going to be like completely the same for the actual published copy, but I just had like a good time getting into the whole vibes of the book, and the way everything was like described. Like I was saying, it's very atmospheric, it's a very like Disney movie. And I don't really remember the plot to this book, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that there really was one. And the reasons why Divine Rivals and Elements of Cadence worked was because there was an element of tension. In Divine Rivals, there's a war in the background, you know? I think technically there's a war here, but I don't know, I just didn't feel like invested in it. Even though like, I'm pretty sure Vincent had his own kind of thing going on in the human world. I don't know. I didn't really care. I think I'm gonna rate this a 2.5, which is not bad. For me, the way I do like author ratings, I just rate them relative to each other. So this would probably be like a 3 stars, but like in Rebecca Ross's ranking, it's probably a 2.5. I'll start off by saying Divine Rivals 5 stars, and then I'll say A River Enchanted is 4.5 because, you know, it's just not quite there, but I still love it. A Fire Endless is like a step down, so it's like 3.5. Ruthless Vows is like a step down, so it's a 2.5. I wanted to give Wild Reverence 3 stars, but I had to be like, okay, like would I rather read Wild Reverence or Ruthless Vows? And I guess I would rather read Ruthless Vows because at least you have Roman and Iris. Honestly, I don't know. Like, for me, it's like a tie. Yes, I get Roman and Iris from Ruthless Vows, but I also have to read through them destroying like the last half of this duology. Whereas Wild Reverence is like a one and done. I really appreciate that NetGalley and the people sent me the arc, and I will look forward to receiving more Rebecca Ross books in the future, hopefully. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment below what you thought of the book, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more, and follow me on Instagram.